Hi, I'm Tim Minton. This is What's Happening at the Legislature. It's been a busy week in Raleigh. We're getting close to the end of session, so a lot of late nights, early mornings, a lot of bills are moving. One of the things that happens at this time of year is the Senate or the House will take the other chamber's bills and change them to something entirely different. And so what that means for your lobbying team is we have to pay attention to everything that's moving in the General Assembly. And so you'll see a lot of the things that are happening right now. House Bill 308, various ag NER changes. This bill is now in the Senate, has some important provisions dealing with the on-site wastewater licensure board, also dealing with a fee that was kind of missed a couple of years ago in terms of a particular license. That bill is actually going to be heard on the Senate floor early next week. House Bill 920, condominium association changes. The intent of this legislation is to deal with some title issues that have been discovered over the years with condominiums. We were able to work with the stakeholder group. We recommended some changes to the bill that they made. That bill is also going to be heard on the Senate floor probably early next week. House Bill 118, COVID-19 liability safe harbor. One of the big issues out there with the pandemic is the whole question of liability. There was a bill earlier in the session that dealt with essential businesses, construction being an essential business, that we would have liability in the sense if someone got sick from COVID-19. This extends this not only to essential businesses, but other businesses, nonprofits, colleges, community colleges, and also extends it to about 6 months after the executive order ends. A very important piece of legislation. Just passed the Senate and will go back to the House for concurrence. We also have House Bill 806, HOA condo pool opening limited immunity. One of the big issues with some of our members is subdivisions in terms of swimming pools, swimming areas that you don't have lifeguards. Kind of what will your liability be during sort of a pandemic? And this tries to address that in terms of providing coverage for those HOAs, for those swimming pool communities, that you'll have some limited immunity. And then also Senate Bill 374, Regulatory Reform Act of 2020. This is a bill that's 20 to 30 pages long, has a lot of provisions, a couple building code provisions. One clarifies the engineer architect option, especially if you want to use for inspections, that you don't have to have an actual seal in terms of the plans. It also deals with a couple other building code issues that are out there, mostly on the commercial side. That bill is actually just passed House rules and should be on the House floor early next week. And then the final bill I want to highlight is House Bill 873, System Development Fee ADU Sewer Permit. What this deals with is, if you remember, the issue of system development fees dealt with a famous court case from a couple years ago. Under current law, you pay those system development fees either at plat recordation or when water or sewer is allocated, whichever is later. And so what we've discovered because of that is the huge financial burden that our members are facing in terms of if you have a subdivision with 50 lots and you're having to pay $5,000 to $10,000 per lot times 50 lots. That's a very substantial amount of money you have to pay at one time. What this does is move one of those options, the option of plat recordation, to building permit. So you would either pay it at the time you apply for a building permit or when water or sewer is allocated, whichever is later. So this would be a huge change for us. Page 2 of the bill deals with the accessory dwelling unit issue that actually came from the city of Durham. If you are attaching sewer lines from a residence and an ADU and they're attached, you do not have to get a special permit from the state, but if they're detached, you do. A really unnecessary regulation. And what this does is basically say, in both cases, you do not have to get a permit from the state. So both of these changes will save our members money, which also will save our customers money, and will have a huge impact on affordable housing. And finally, we have our Legislator of the Week. It's Senator Vickie Sawyer from District 34. She's represents R-Iredell and Yadkin County. She is one of our home builder champions. One of the great things about Senator Sawyer is not only is she in the insurance business, she has a general contractor's license. So here's somebody who's in the Senate that understands our industry, has been a very strong supporter. Senator Sawyer, we want to thank you for everything you do. Now, if you want more information, please read our weekly legislative update. See you next week.